Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah,
Today's
man.
the day, my dude.
Today is the day. We got a special guest.
We have a special guest. And this
Legit.
isn't, legit. This is a verified special guest.
Oh, man.
Not to downplay having Justin, Nick, or Nathan on the show. Yeah, we are having
Mr.
Matt Rehwoldt, formerly known as Aiden English in the WWE, as a guest on our show, and we're going to be interviewing him and talking to him.
We get to have a little conversation with the man, the voice of TNA announcement.
He's a current TNA color commentator, former WWE superstar, former TNA superstar.
He's got like YouTube thing with
got
wrestling
different
with
YouTube channel. Him and a couple of the people from TNA, they have another one where they break down just kind of the world of wrestling,
which is so cool.
I looked into it.
Reboot, right?
Yeah, Reboot. Yeah, it's pretty cool because they talk about everything. They talk about AEW, TNA, WWE. They talk about all of it. It's pretty sweet. And yeah, so he's a former theater major. Like, he's a gamer. He live streams on Twitch, playing games and stuff, and interacting with fans. Seems like a super cool dude. We're really excited, and just what a dope thing. What an awesome situation we found ourselves in. Gotta give a shout out to my wife here because she is the reason we even knew he was following our Instagram. She just happened to go through and was like looking at who was following us, and she was like, you guys have like 3 verified accounts following you, and we were like, what? And we looked through, and I texted Tim. I said, hey, who is Matt Rehwoldt?
I was like,
and he was like, oh my God, it's Aiden English. I was like, what? Literally a straight up former WWE superstar. So that's fucking awesome. And yeah.
Well, that said, let's get right into the interview.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Triple B Podcast. I'm Tim, aka RT Red.
I'm Ryan, aka Jester.
And we got a special guest on our show today. We got Matt Rehwoldt, the aka Aiden English, the voice of TNA. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on this.
Oh my God, yeah. When I came across a podcast that actually straddled the weird border of whiskey and wrestling, which I thought I was the only one truly doing, I was like, well, I gotta tap in a little bit here.
Hell yeah, man! This is so exciting for us. We're obviously a young podcast, and just looking forward to having a little chat with you today. And we got the holiday season. We just want to ask, how was your Christmas?
It was really nice. I mean, it always is. It was unseasonably warm. I'm here in Chicago, and it's a little unsettling in these times when it was like 52 degrees on Christmas Day. But no, it was really nice. Got to chill with the family. We did our whole regular thing, and it was nice to just have a very chill. My wife is off work. I'm off work. Quiet Christmas at home. It was nice. How about you guys?
Dude, it was nice. I got to host family over at our place for the first time, which was nice. And then weather-wise, leading up to Christmas in Washington, we had crazy winds and rain and flooding. So
everywhere. It was crazy.
It's been quite the weather up here, but overall, a very nice Christmas. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, it was good for us too. Me and my wife, we hosted my family on Christmas Eve, like for brunch, and then we went to her dad's Christmas Eve for dinner, and then went to her mom's on Christmas Day. So
nice.
Luckily, that's all within like 20 minutes of where we live, so not too much travel. We have a 2-year-old daughter, so not too much having to put her in the car or anything. So it all went smooth, and everything was great.
Heck yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, that's going to bring us over to our bourbon section. Ryan, you had some questions for him here.
Yeah. First off, do you happen to be drinking anything?
All right. Well, I just had a little pour. Absolutely. I figured that it's the only podcast I could ever do, really, for the most part, that I actually get to do this on. No, I grabbed a, I have just a little bit left of a Knob Creek pick that I did with a store here in Illinois. So this is my Wrestling with Whiskey Knob Creek pick.
I love it.
Freaking awesome that you have your own little whiskey connection with your podcast too. That's dope. Me and Tim are both we're sipping on because we're doing our full episode today as well. So this was Tim's. We got the Kentucky Rambler here. So
I'm not familiar with that one. Where's that out of?
Yeah, it is straight out of Kentucky. And yeah, it's I'm trying to think of or see. Sorry, Tim.
I'm like, I wonder, is it an NDP? Is it their own stuff? Is it just a small craft brand, or are they just sourcing barrels, or what?
I believe it was their own barrels. Yeah. They did a little blend of a couple mash bourbons together and high rye ones, and it's got every kind of profile you want. You got a nice punch to go with, and then it gets a wave of sweetness afterwards with like kind of an appley / vanilla taste to finish it off. It's a fun ride for sure. Okay. Drinking it down.
Yeah, it was what we do on the show is we each kind of take turns doing different bourbons and bringing them on, and we try to do one. On the show, we do ones that we haven't had on the show before, but we always try to end up with ones that neither of us have ever tried before either, just to try new stuff. And this was we call it Bourbon in the Bank. We have like a money in the bank briefcase that we actually we open it on the show because like Tim did this one today. So I don't know why I have the bottle with me. It should be with you right now, Tim. But yeah, so that's what we do. And this was Tim's. We call him cash in. So this was Tim's cash in today, and this was the new bourbon we're sipping on for the episode today.
Nice.
So yeah. So that all being said, the first actual question I have for you here is: we are still very much amateur bourbon connoisseurs, if you will, or I guess bourbon drinkers, working our way towards connoisseurs, if you will. And so I just wanted to ask you, what were your kind of like main things you look for in a bourbon, when it like specifically in regards to just the taste, not necessarily price points or anything like that, but just like those things. What are the things that you look for that make a bourbon good to you?
So yeah, for me, I like something that's interesting. Like more than one note. Obviously, when you get something that starts one way on the nose, it kind of takes a left turn on the palate, and then the finish is something like really stays with. I like a long finish. I really love. Some people hate the word. It's almost like, how some people hate the word moist. They wig out. Yes, I feel like there's certain sector of like bourbon fans and whiskey fans who would, the word mouthfeel is overused and they get all like weird about it. I know. Sure. Thinking about things in your mouth that aren't whiskey. I get it. But that's the word. I love a viscous, what I like to describe it as like a whiskey you can chew. You know what I mean? It doesn't taste like water. It's not super. It's got some body to it. I really like that.
Like fully envelops your mouth.
Yeah, really coats the whole the roof of your mouth and everything. It feels very viscous, And for me too, something that's moved more as I've gotten more and more into it. Initially, I was very much barrel proof or bust. And don't get me wrong, I want my cash strength stuff, but I have found my palate and me, I thrive when things are in that 100 to 115 range. And if that is cash strength, great. Those wild turkey, rare breed and stuff like that is right in that 115 mark. The new riff single barrel cash strengths are right around there. So I like the occasional, hazmat. I got a bottle up there actually and stuff but on most nights I'm going by that because it's a little heavy hitting if I'm having, especially if I'm going to have more than one. So, but yeah, layered, viscous, and hefty proof, but not punch you in the teeth proof. That's like my ideal profile.
Yeah. This one, the one that we're sipping on today, is 123.4 proof.
Okay.
And we haven't had one on the show that has punched you in the teeth like that for a while. So I didn't know that. Obviously, it was Tim's. So I took the first drink and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, when you haven't had it
then,
in a minute too, it hits you.
But then the after, that aftertaste, that what kind of sits with you, that the finish and everything was. It was like, oh, that's actually really nice. It was sweet. Like Tim said, it has that vanilla, kind of an appley taste after. It's really good. We're enjoying it. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The salesperson nailed the description. We like to go in blind. We don't want to taste. And he was just like, listen, it's going to punch you in the mouth, but just enjoy the ride afterwards.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're doing. Next thing up here I had was kind of, blending the lines of two of the main things that we on our show we talk about, and what you talk about on your podcast as well, is you have an earn your bourbon philosophy, right? And so where you're combining fitness with spirits, I just wanted to ask, considering the fitness portion of wrestling, professional wrestling, and then spirits, what do you think is the most surprising similarity between the craft of distilling whiskey and putting together a wrestling match?
So that's really interesting.
It's kind of a wild question.
Well, because like in some ways, like it's hard finding parallels because they're two. The first thing my brain goes to when you ask that is timelines, and whiskey. The whole basis of it is we make it and then you got to wait, right?
Yeah.
You throw it in a barrel and God willing, it's decent enough to either sell or blend in a couple of years. Whereas wrestling, we are fly by the seat of our pants, right?
Yeah.
It is sometimes you get to the building and the match has changed from what somebody told you yesterday, right? And you got to put together a 30-minute match in a couple of hours. So the timelines are incredibly different. The biggest similarity, I guess I would say, is where they're two very specific art forms in a way, like distilling and knowing what grains to use, how to mash it, how to distill it, what part of the way, that specificity of putting together and making great whiskey. It's so unique and specific, but it's an industry that's really trying. I mean, as much as they're appealing to guys like you and me who want to read the back of the bottle and find out exactly what corner of the warehouse it came from, they're also appealing to your uncle who has bought Jim Beam and only Jim Beam for the last 40 years. They want to get everybody. And I think that's something about wrestling. While we have things, we want to keep that hardcore fan base involved and the people who've watched wrestling their whole lives. We're also really dedicated. And I think this goes across companies. This is TNA, WWE, AEW, as much as some fans may not like to hear it. Where all those major companies are trying to appeal to as many people as they can. Because wrestling, even at the highest levels, even at WrestleMania levels, is still a little bit of a niche. You know what I mean? It's not broadcast TV, Hollywood level of notoriety. It's still kind of a little subset of entertainment. So we're trying to bring in as many people as we can while creating a very specific product. So to me, that's kind of where the parallel lies. It's unique. It's its own little thing when you get into the world, but we really just want everybody to enjoy it.
Well put. Damn. That was
very well
put.
I tried. I pulled that one out of my butt.
No, that was awesome. That was great. Couple kind of more quick fire things off the top of your head here. All right. What would be your favorite consumer friendly bourbon? So one that's not going to like break your bank type of thing. You know what I mean?
Wild Turkey 101.
Wild Turkey 101.
Wild Turkey 101, man. It is a $25 bottle. Improved at 101, so it's great in cocktails. It's for spirit forward cocktails. It's cheap. It's priced like a middle bottom shelf bottle, but the work and if you know anything about it, it's actually like a really well-known distillery. It's pretty well aged. It's well proofed. So I think it punches above its price point, and it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
at least domestically here, speaking for us in the States, but even internationally in many, many places, it's super easy to find, easy to get, and tastes good, neat, or in a cocktail.
Awesome. Love that. I also love Wild Turkey 101, so I love that was your go-to. Next one would be, what is your favorite connoisseur bourbon? So now we're talking price points don't matter.
Sure.
Which one you going for?
That one's tough because that I feel like that's the ones that have changed because like you learn to find the things you like that you can get. You can go to the liquor store at any given week and be like, oh, okay. And so you're getting barrel picks from this store because you like it. But as far as the super nerdy connoisseur stuff, it's like 1 year I'm into hazmat bourbon. The next year I'm into crazy PX finish, scotches and stuff like that, I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of friends in this industry and everything. So like I've had some wild samples of stuff sent to me. I would say like if I had my ducats and I could kind of throw money at anything, there is I don't know if I could find, it's like one of those bottles. I haven't seen it. And it might be like $150 bottle, but it might be a $5,000 bottle. I don't know. A friend took me out in New York to get it. I believe it was a Tomatin, I think 18-year PX finish sherry scotch. And it could have been like with anything whiskey related. Sometimes it's the company, but like we were out in Brooklyn. I think I was there for WWE, either SummerSlam. I don't think it was the NXT TakeOver. I think it was when I was on the main roster for SummerSlam. He was there. He's a whiskey guy. He took me out to this bar. He's Scottish. He brought this scotch over. And like I have a core memory, whiskey memory of just it being the most like dessert heavy. It was like, again, viscous, but it was like powdered sugar and almond and like it was rich. It was pure dessert level whiskey. And I've been chasing that profile for a while. I've had a couple of really good scotches, but nothing quite like that. So if I could track down, again, I'm 90% sure it was Tomatin, either 14 or 18 year, super long PX sherry finish. And yeah, just that note just stays with me.
I think...
What were you gonna say? Go for it.
I was just gonna say, I think that's like makers for me and Ryan. Like we went to a concert, and what kind of spurred part of the bourbon whiskey drinking was just having a drink of makers and just having that memory.
That was the first time that Journey concert. That was the first time I ever had whiskey on the rocks.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever had it, was because Tim ordered it, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to get. Sure, I'll do the same thing. And then I started sipping on it. I was like, holy shit, but damn, that's good.
Yep.
So, and I just have never went back. So that's pretty much, that is really all I drink anymore, is just pretty much bourbon. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. All right, last one in the bourbon segment here is, what's your favorite bourbon cocktail?
I mean, bro, it's a cop out to say an old fashioned, right? Like we all love a good old fashioned.
No, it's not. So, that's what we would probably say too.
Yes,
it would either be that or the mint julep.
Dude, 100%. Like, and the default is, especially if you make a really good one. I was actually, you know what? I'm gonna pivot this question a little bit. I do have another answer for this, but I'm gonna pivot it. And I want to see if you guys ever feel the same. Because we were going out, me and my wife were going out to dinner. And we were talking about cocktails or something. And I was like, I love going to places that truly actually like try to do a twist on a cocktail or really shoot outside the box. Because I don't know about you, but there are so many restaurants, and I get you guys are jumping on the whiskey trend, that do an old fashioned, but they try to call it something on their menu to make it sound unique. Like it's like, this is Uncle Tom's old fashioned. You know what I mean? We do it different. Totally. And we do, and it's just like, you look at it's like Jim Beam, Demerara, and bitters. And you're like, well,
how is that different than
but we did it like Tom did it with an extra bit of love, or like something like that. Wait, it's one extra dose of bitters or something like that. I don't know. There's so many restaurants. They just name it the name of the restaurant old fashioned, and it's like you have it, and you're like, oh, it's literally. There's nothing different about this. You could have just called it an old fashioned. That said, so no, but recently a cocktail I tried here at home a couple of times that I've really liked. That is basically a slightly changed version of an old fashioned. It's called the Lion's Tail. Because I got a bottle of a liqueur called Allspice Dram, which is what it sounds like. It's a kind of a sweet liqueur that tastes very kind of allspicey, which is, that kind of Christmassy, kind of just really tingly, spicy, nutmeggy kind of thing. It uses a little bit of that, a tiny bit of simple bitters, whiskey, and then throw a little bit of lime juice in there. And so it's kind of an allspice old fashioned with lime. And it comes together really, really well. It's a shaken cocktail, but so that's been like my new favorite cocktail. Like my go-to, yes, is an old fashioned, but this has been a new one I've really enjoyed.
That's kind of like how I go to the old fashioned regularly, but been trying to switch it up. And my new favorite is a New York sour, which is just it's incredible. And I think I had Ryan try one, and it's stellar, man.
Right? Do you have
wine in it?
Yes, I'm like, have you nailed the float?
So goddamn good.
The over the spoon and everything?
I did, yeah, and it's so good, good.
And it looks cool. It's a when you get it right, like it's a stunner of a kind. It looks really unique and everything. If it's an impressive one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's funny that you brought up just mentioned the fact that like restaurants will like call it something special, but then it's literally just the three basic ingredients in an old fashioned, right? Because with me and we've done a bunch of different old fashions, because with what we do with the cash-ins for the bourbons, we do those every other week, and then the weeks in between, whoever's bourbon it was, they come up with a cocktail that we do on the show the next week, and just to use more bourbon, so we're not buying a brand new bottle of bourbon every week, essentially, right? But anyway, so last weekend, Tim had to work. I had my brother on, and it was right before Christmas, and my wife had this bag of like candy cane dust. Right, it was just like crushed up candy canes.
Yeah.
And I used like 3 cups of that and made a candy cane simple syrup. And I actually did a candy cane old fashioned last week on the show.
How'd it come out?
It turned out really good, because I didn't look up like a recipe or anything. I had no idea. I just did it and tried it out. And so it was bourbon, and I did like 4 dashes of chocolate bitters.
I was gonna say, what kind of bitters? That's
It
turned
out really good.
All right.
It was awesome. My brother is not a big whiskey fan, but he's a huge peppermint fan. Or sorry, he's not a big bourbon fan. He likes Irish whiskey, and he dabbles in scotches as well. But bourbon isn't like his go-to thing. But he was like, dude, that's a 10 out of 10. And I was like, let's go.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
Ooh, I might have to give that one a go. Scrape up some of these spare candy canes from family members off the tree.
I brought Tim today the rest of the candy cane simple syrup so that he could try it, because he wasn't on the show last week. So
nice.
I was like, here you go, man.
Hell yeah.
Fun.
But yeah.
Well, that brings us over to the belts, aka wrestling section part of this. And so the time-old question, what got you into wrestling, and were you always a fan, or was it something you acquired later on?
Like, I didn't start as early as some of my friends and people from my generation, but like I was still a kid. And so, honestly, the big thing that got me into wrestling was FOMO. Literally, because I was, born in 87, so I was growing up in the 90s, right? But we were very much, especially at the beginning, like middle class, lower middle class. So we didn't have cable TV. Like wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. I mean, God, now it's not even ubiquitous because everyone has streaming, right? Cable TV is dead. So like cable was a luxury we got later, not until like 2000 or something like that. So like, but I would hear, so when I would go to school in 4th, 5th grade, you hear people talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin and you hear about Shawn Michaels and I'm like, people talk about wrestling. I know wrestling is a thing, and it's funny because my mom gave me, it's hanging up in my room, this little like picture from like first grade. And it was like, what do you want to be? And it was like, I want to be a wrestler. But I'll tell you that I know I didn't watch it. Like, I think my brothers watched a little bit of it when they could. And I just knew it was like, everyone keeps talking. It sounds cool. And then by the time I was in like 5th grade was 99. Everybody talking about it's Attitude Era. It's all the stuff. It's Stone Cold. It's The Rock. It's DX. It's Mankind falling off the cell, Undertaker. But I couldn't really see. I was like, God dang it. What is this thing everybody keeps talking about? Until I discovered Shotgun Saturday Night, which was on a local channel here in Chicago. And so I would just watch that to catch up on things happening. And finally, yeah, like late 99, SmackDown debuted on UPN at the time. And that was a network TV thing. So I watched that. And then we got cable. I watched Raw. And so like it started off as just like, I don't even know if I'm going to like this, but I have to watch it because everybody's talking about it. And for whatever reason, when I did, I just fell in love with it from then on out.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You were a part of a group that ushered in the NXT area, and is there any memorable moments that stick out to you? Because for me, it was kind of a dark time in WWE, but NXT was actually like the bright spot for me. It was what I was kind of steering away from wrestling, and then NXT happened, and I was just all in on that. And you were part of that group. So was there any memorable moments that stuck out to you? Did you get to work with Dusty, and any fun stories or memories from that?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like that. Looking back on that now, like at the time, well, I'm very fortunate. At the time I knew it was pretty cool. It felt good as things were really picking up steam. But like looking back now and I'm like, holy crap, that really was a hell of an era to be a part of. And not to jump ahead or anything, but like I've been very fortunate. I feel very similarly about the run TNA's kind of been on in the last year, 2 years, where it's like, oh, it's kind of coming back into the conversation in a big way. So like I'm very fortunate there too. But at that time, yeah, man, like the big thing for me was one, I was also very fortunate that I came in at the tail end of FCW. So we were just in a warehouse in Tampa unto ourselves, very kind of still small time, old school. And then I was there during the transition to NXT, to Orlando, the Performance Center, Full Sail University, and the NXT TV show, Black and Yellow, that we all knew. It was really cool. And especially I give a lot of credit to people like Sami Zayn. When he came in, me and him hit it off right away. So like there were a group of us that would hang out, like me, him, Kevin Owens, Juice Robinson, and stuff like that. But he always had a great way. He's like, dude, this is like, it's not because like NXT is still owned by WWE. It's very corporate, but he's like, this is as close to like a punk rock kind of feeling as you can get in mainstream wrestling. Like it was very fan driven. It was small, but it was just like rumbling under the surface of the whole WWE infrastructure. And we really did feel like, and I'll give credit to Triple H too. He kind of lit that fire of like, even though he was in his own way transitioning to running the main roster, we were his pet project. And he was telling us every week or every pay-per-view, every arrival of like, hey, like make them scared, make the people who are up there, doing SummerSlam, doing WrestleMania, make them worried, make them worried that you're all coming for their spots. And that motivated us. So yeah, getting to work with Dusty Rhodes was incredible. He had just such a zest for life and like a way of looking at things that a lot of people in wrestling didn't. He was a huge film buff. So like he was big on the as much as you look back, and he had tons of promos where he's yelling and baby, I did this and do that. But he was big on like, don't yell unless you need to, man. He's like, this is Hollywood. We should be like, what is your character? Why are you angry? If you're not, don't yell. Why are you yelling? Just talk to me. Be real. All that stuff. He was very big on that. And he was an absolute, and I feel very, very lucky that we got the time that we got with him. And then, I mean, other than that, just all the cool things we got to do. I mean, the Performance Center growing was its own thing. You know, we started at Full Sail University, which was cool. Using that facility like nobody had at that point. Then when we started to go on the road, like we were only doing those Florida shows, the same 6 armories over and over for years. So then all of a sudden we're in Columbus, we're in Pittsburgh, we're in Philly, we're in San Antonio. All these shows, doing these cool venues, because it was small, we couldn't fill, you know, basketball arenas. But because of that, we got to go to these like rock concert venues. You know what I mean? These 1,000, 1,500 seat concert venues that were unique as hell. Theaters, you know, the Aztec Theater, I remember in San Antonio, was literally one of these old like Spanish style, like it's got like buildings around the facade and like the fake stars on the ceiling, like kind of kitschy and corny, but it was really cool to do a wrestling show in those. And then I'll kind of cap it off. I mean, I don't think anybody part of that generation could kind of talk about that time without talking about that first takeover Brooklyn, which was unreal. Again, everything we had done was Full Sail or these kind of small concert-y venues. And then all of a sudden we're in the same venue as SummerSlam. And like, I remember walking in that day and just looking out and like, cause they had told us it was sold out. And we were like, are you sure? I'm like, the biggest crowd we'd been in front of at that point, I think it was like 2,000, 2,500 people. And then all of a sudden it was going to be like 14,000 that night. And it was like, and holy crap. And that was the night I won my first ever championship in wrestling too. So like that whole time is very, very special indeed.
That was a big moment for me that kept the love of wrestling going. And it was just, it to me, that was like the Attitude Era. It was very different, but in a refreshing way. And then just seeing how you guys grew from Full Sail to going to Brooklyn and everything. And then just the different things, like when you guys came up to Seattle, it was in Paramount Theater, and it was a different way to see wrestling, and it's always been a fun thing. So I hold NXT dear to my heart, and
Me too.
you guys were a big part of that, so thank you. All right, let's talk about your transition to announcing. You went from a wrestler to announcer. How does it feel to be the voice of TNA? What was that transition like? Are you enjoying it? I know I enjoy it. I know you were on 205 Live and everything, and that you've been a great announcer. So what's that been like?
I mean, it's been a hell of a journey. Also, next time you either you see him or you interact with Tom Hannafin, yes, please tell him I am the voice of TNA Wrestling.
Yes.
Because they always call him, no, and I'm kidding. And of course he is. He's our lead play-by-play guy, but yes, the perfect broadcast partner. But no, it was an interesting thing and an interesting time because it happened at a time, and oddly enough, because of Tom Hannafin. So the funny thing is, he had asked me about trying out commentary years earlier in NXT, like, cause he was still working with NXT and at the Performance Center and stuff. And he had come up to me, I remember, when I was first doing my solo Aiden English run, singing to the ring and all that stuff. And he was like, hey, like, you're such a great character. You're a good talker. Would you ever want to like just hop in the booth with me? Like, you want to try commentary to see if that was something you'd be wanting to do? And I was so wrestler pilled at the time because like there's a little bit of I think it was probably put on in my head more than was in reality, but there was a lot of people who were like, hey, the company, you know, sometimes they'll try to get you to be an interviewer or an announcer or something like that. Don't give them the ammo to don't give them a reason to take you out of the ring, to take you out of the spotlight. Total paranoia BS, right? But that was a little bit of the wrestler attitude. Don't give them any reason to not let you be a world champion kind of thing, which is also a very immature kind of mindset. It's all or nothing, which I think is you risk a lot, but a lot could be lost. So at the time I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think so. And I kind of brushed him off. So lo and behold, NXT went up to the main roster, ups and downs. Rusev Day happened, huge thing, was so much fun. But then that came to a bit of a fart of an ending, as a lot of people, but it ended with a whimper and not with a bang. You know what I mean? For all of us, for everybody involved, it was a kind of a meh ending. And so after that, I was kind of not factored into anything. And so it was a very low point for me creatively and just personally. I didn't like going to work for the first time in a long time. And I hate that because I got to be in such a cool industry, but I was like, I'm going to, Raw or SmackDown and I'm not doing anything. I was the classic guy sitting in catering and I'm like, I don't like that. I'm like, I don't even care about being the world champion. I'm like, I just want to contribute to the show, man. You know what I mean? I would have been somebody's manager. I would have been somebody's valet, whatever. I'm like, I just want to help make the show good. I just don't want to be sitting back here, sitting on my hands. So at that time, once again, gracious as he is, Tom Hannafin, who was kind of working his way up in the announce team. He was kind of running the announce team with Michael Cole. He basically was like, hey, you want to give this a shot? Again, I really do think you'd be good at this. And at that point, I was like, yes, sure. I would love to. I'd grown up a little bit and I was like, yeah, I'd love to add another skill to my hat. I was already a wrestler. I was a tag team guy. I was a manager for Rusev. I was like, yeah, please. I'm like, give me all the skills. And so I went and I went down to Florida and I did it. And I thought it went well. I worked with him. I worked with Byron Saxton just in a booth, watching footage. And I was like, I thought it was okay. I didn't feel super confident, but I was like, I thought it was decent, for a first time. And then when I went to SmackDown again the next week for regular TV, Michael Cole called me in and was like, hey, I heard it went well. So anyway, next week you'll be on 205 Live after SmackDown. So, we'll start that. You'll join Vic and Nigel and everything. I was like, oh, you're just going to throw me out there. Okay. And then it also happened to be the week I debuted was the Thursday or the Tuesday or whatever it was before the Rumble. And they're like, oh, well, there's a Cruiserweight title match at the Rumble. So I guess you're going to that too. So in my first week ever doing commentary, I was put on live TV on 205 and then live on pay-per-view on the pre-show for the Rumble. So I was really thrown into the deep end, but yeah. I'm showing my terrible commentary ability because I'm being very long-winded here and I should be very brief. But no, the big thing you asked me is how am I liking it? At first, I was 50-50 because I was happy to be doing something, but I did have that very much I was watching all my friends and coworkers putting their matches together. All this stuff I used to do out near the ring, going over spots and doing this. How are we going to practicing promos? And I'm like, I'm just sitting here waiting to do the Cruiserweight show, and I did feel left out. I felt pulled out of the spotlight, but I will say that quickly dissipated. And thanks, big ups to Tom, of course, for ushering me in there. Big ups to Michael Cole for kind of watching over while I first did it. And huge shout out to Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness, the best possible partners I could have had for my start there. They were so good to me and so helpful. And I enjoyed working with them so much that I fell in love with the craft. So by the time I moved on from them and I started working on with other people, I worked with Tom a little bit in NXT UK and people like John Quasto. And then even after the release and then coming to TNA and seeing, like, by that time, I started to realize I'm a big believer in, I'm not religious at all. But I am a believer in that idea of like, hey, when life or whatever shuts something for you, they're showing you another door. There's normally a reason, or there's something, you can find the way. And what really clicked for me was, so it happened in WWE, right? I got offered the opportunity to commentate. Cool. 2020, COVID, I get released with about 100 other people. And it's like, okay, you got to figure out. We go and I find TNA Impact Wrestling at the time. And I wrestled. I was started off as a wrestler there. I also did a little bit of work for New Japan Strong. But within the span of about 4 months, when I got there, and it wasn't because I would like to think it wasn't because I was a bad wrestler, but they just, both companies had asked me, they're like, hey, we have, like, New Japan asked me, we got this big pay-per-view coming up for summer. I know you did commentary. Would you want to do commentary with Kevin Kelly? And I was like, sure, that'd be great. And then a couple months later down the road in TNA, they're like, hey, Matt Striker's moving on or whatever. Tom, I don't know if they remember if they told me Tom was coming in, but they were like, hey, we're going to need a new broadcast partner for him. Would you be interested in doing that? And I was like, sure. So here, within the span of like 4 to 6 months, these two new companies I worked with both really want me to do commentary. It's that kind of, hey, you should, life is showing you something. Life is pushing you. And I'll wrap this all up by saying is like, look, I know I'm a good wrestler. I know I'm a good performer, but in this business, I feel like I will be remembered for and go down my greatest superpower is broadcast, is color commentary, making people care more about what's happening in the ring than you already do, putting over their stories. So like, I think as much as I loved my time in the ring, and like, everyone always wonder, are you hurt? No, I'm healthy. I could go at any day. But like, I think my superpower in this industry is at that desk.
That's awesome.
And scene.
I agree.
That was going to be one of my actual questions too. Was like, what led you to, quote unquote, retire from in ring performing? And it was just the love of broadcasting. Yeah. That's awesome. That's
especially so cool. People always ask me, and I do indies from time to time. Like this year I did 3. I don't do a ton. I did 3 or 4 different. Last year I did a couple shots. So I can wrestle. Hey, indie companies, if you want, I'll wrestle. But like, as far as like the TV companies and everything, like wherever opportunities lead me, this is where I think my money is, my strength is, my talent is in the long term.
That's awesome.
I love that. We talk about it on the show a lot, but just the magic you guys do at the desk to just sell us on big moments is just underappreciated, I think, and it really tells a story on the desk out there. So appreciate what you're doing out there on the desk. All right, my last question for Belts. I know Ryan got a couple, but is how do you feel the TNA NXT partnership is going? Has it been beneficial? Are you enjoying it? I could tell you from a fan perspective, I've been loving it. It's been a great partnership and just getting more eyes on both products. How do you feel it's going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to say it hasn't been beneficial. Now, look, I'm going to speak to the TNA diehards who you are our bread and butter, and I love you. And I know there's a bit of a nudge, rub of like, hey, they're bullying you a little bit. You know, things like Trick Williams winning the TNA title for so long and stuff like that. Look, it's all in the game and it's all in creative, but like, it's so funny because everybody, you see a lot of, but honestly, I love that fans are reacting that way in a way. As much as they were like, this is BS, and WWE's bullying them and all this. But I'm like, that's great. That's the thing that like they wanted to create. Remember in the old, like, we're going to do Raw versus SmackDown days, like 15 years ago. Like, and it was like, nobody's buying that you're actual rivals. You're all working for the same company.
Yeah.
we actually kind of get it for real here, because while there is a partnership in place, we are still very two separate companies. So there's there's very much more tangible feeling of like jockeying for position. But I mean, when you look at the growth of TNA's business this past year, I would be a fool to not say, hey, you know, the highlights of working with WWE hasn't played a role in that. I will think the majority of it is from some of the talent we've found and put into the main spotlight, your Jordan Graces, your Joe Hendrys, and the like. But it's also just been super fun because like sometimes we never know who we're gonna get. You know, I show up to work and I'm like, oh, okay, we got them coming to the show this week. That's really cool. And the talent over there is fantastic. And so like I love getting to work with them, and they've been awesome communicating with us, which means the PC, the program that I went through, that NXT program, is still working, because we would always tell them, hey, talk to your commentators, man. Like, tell them, and you can tell the people who listen. Trick Williams was great, man. He was so much fun to work with. And so, like, I get to see all my awesome TNA family, but then, like, you get these guests who come in who I wouldn't get to work with otherwise. And they've all, truly, I can't, as much as even if I wanted to spill some dirt, I'm like, dude, everybody's been awesome to work with. So for me, it's more about the day-to-day. How is it doing the show with them? How are they on our show, in our locker room, all that kind of thing. And it's been great so far. And it looks like the business, again, that we've had this year, leading us to AMC coming out, you know, on the premiere, brand new network, biggest network opportunity for TNA. And it's, I would say, its entire history almost. And is a lot of because of that, you know, partnership and everything like that. But on a personal level, I've been having a blast with it.
I love it.
I think that kind of goes back to the question about distilling whiskey and the similarity between that and putting a wrestling match together, right?
Yeah.
Is where you're talking about hitting, like, the idea is not just trying to hit the diehards. You're trying to rope a lot of people in, and with two wrestling companies, which 10 to 15 years ago would have been, I mean, the forbidden door, right? Like, it would have been completely crazy to even contemplate that, like, as a fan, let alone as the higher ups behind the doors of these companies, right? And to have you guys now, like, partnering, it's just opening the world. It's just good. It's good for fans. It's good for you guys. It's good for the talent, the superstars. It's good for everybody. So we're getting eyes on so much more now because of this. So
absolutely.
And it's awesome to hear that, like, you being involved in all of it it's good on your end as well. Like, things are going good. So that's great to hear. Two things that I have for the belts, and it's really just curious because me and Tim, we're idiots. We've done some stupid backyard wrestling stuff growing up. And
me too.
Things, yeah, right. The things that they always say, don't try this at home. We're like, we gotta fucking try that. And so we're just curious. Like, we haven't done anything like fucking wild, but just two things. What is the worst move you've ever taken? And then the flip side of that, what's a move that looks like it's devastating to the fans, but is like, you're like, oh, that's a breeze. So what are those two for you?
So the first one, people ask, I do a lot of live streams and content stuff myself. So people ask that all the time. Besides asking for a Rusev Day. They always ask.
We're not doing that. Don't worry.
But they what's the worst move? What's the worst move? And I always blindside them because, and there's an asterisk with it, but because I always say headlock takeover, and but it's specific, and I love this man to death. Shout out to Ryan Parmeter, aka he was Connor O'Brien of the Ascension in NXT and WWE. He is, and again, he is a wonderful wrestler and a wonderful human. But at the time when the Ascension were like steamrolling every tag team in NXT back in that black and gold era, I was getting my start. So I was job guy number one. You know, I was working a lot of enhancement matches with them, both on house shows and then on TV a few times too, I think. And one of the moves they had him doing and that he'd kind of come up with and they really pushed him on doing was a set of rolling headlock takeovers. So it was like repeated headlock takeovers. So it was like you'd headlock takeover, like normal, simple. They're amazing. But then he would like pull you up and just keep going, like on the ground, just rolling over and over. So for me, especially as I was a young guy still getting my wind, as the guy taking a headlock takeover, I'm hunched over like this, right? Just wrapped around him. Yeah. So doing it once is one thing, but doing it over and over, my chin is just tucked here and I can't breathe. I can't breathe. But so he's doing like 6, 7 in a row. And I'm like, and then like, that's not the finish. That's just in the middle of the match. So then I still have to get up and like take bumps and all this. So I was dying taking that thing anytime I had to do it.
That's funny.
Power bomb me all day long. Just don't give me those headlock takeovers. So on the other side, one of the moves that I think always looks crazy that people looks crazy, but is like one of the easiest things to take. It's kind of just generic, like a spike DDT. You know, when a guy looks like they're doing a headstand and it's like, boom, it's super easy to do. Like it literally, I mean, maybe some people can't, but I'm like, it's very easy to make it look visually. Boom. Some guys have bounced all the way up to their feet. On that note, in a similar capacity, although it takes more ability, like a Canadian destroyer. It's it looks wild, but like it really, your arms are here protected. Like there's really very little danger other than the flip on the destroyer. But like, yeah, like that DDT, when you satellite around someone or a tornado DDT and they boom, most people roll, but the people who choose to kind of bounce, even it's not that crazy, but it looks awesome.
RVD.
Oh yeah. Oh, funny story. Funny story. Pre-wrestling days, WrestleMania, it was 22 in Chicago. I'm a fan. It's 2006. Me and my buddy are doing all the meet and greets around, and literally like 5 minutes from my house in the suburbs, RVD's doing a meet and greet at Popeye's Chicken. So we
No way.
And we bring the dumbest thing. We bring a chair like that we hit each other with in like our backyard stupid home videos. Yeah. We brought that for him to sign. And we ask him at the autograph signing, hey man, like, how do you take your DDTs? Like that looks crazy. And he may have had a little 420 help. I don't know. But he was like, hey man.
RVD? Like, no.
I know. He was just like, I just spiked myself. Which was probably not what you should tell kids who are bringing you a dented chair to sign.
Yeah, right.
But
that's awesome.
But yeah, that's what he just said. But no, it's very easy to fake and pull off and make it look spectacular.
All right, Ryan, we got our next cash in. No, just
yeah, right. Canadian Destroyer or Spike DDT? Which one?
Right? Either or.
All right. If again, as long as you're good for time, we're going to move to Blockbusters and just ask you a few questions in there. Quite a few of these are more just like pretty quick. I have to do this. Smart Lists, the podcast. Yes. I don't know if you're a fan of that.
Huge fan.
Yep. Yes. So I know Tim and I are also. So I'm stealing a Sean P. Hayes line here. But do you have a best, worst, or most embarrassing theater story, knowing that you were a theater major?
Sure.
And just the way that all obviously kind of intertwined with what your career ended up being as well, right? So,
yeah,
but do you have any of those stories?
No, because my theater career wasn't crazy. Like I started in high school, study it in college, but then after that was like my thing. College, I get it done, and then I'm gonna go do wrestling. Okay. So no, I didn't do like a bajillion productions, but the only one I could think of was in the kind of story that I know Sean Hayes likes is with one of my best friends who got me into doing theater in high school. I didn't do it till my senior year, so right at the end. And we were doing the show Our Town, and which is just very narrative, play about this small town, this boy and girl fall in love, all the people around. There's the narrator character talking the whole time. So my friend played the main boy, and I played his father. And there's a scene where like he comes home, he's talking about something, and he kind of like, the way we blocked it out was like I don't know if he sat on the table or he kind of like was being dramatic and was like, oh, like I'm in love, and like kind of falls back on the table. Well, you see where this is going. It broke like in our like second performance. Like, and this is high school level stagecraft, right? These little tables. So he does it and he just goes crack and falls him. And I wish I could tell you, but like I improv'd a line and I was like, you idiot, or something like that. And like I picked him up and I dusted him off. And but we got praised for like the improv and keeping it going afterward by our director. So like it was one of those moments where like it was wild, but it should have like it could have been one of those moments like, oh my God, table, he fell on his head. Like it looked terrible. He was fine, but like it looked bad. And but it was just good because it showed me, it was like, oh, you can work when things go wrong, which in wrestling paid off big time because nothing ever goes 100% A to B as planned in a wrestling match.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that story because I'm actually a high school teacher. I teach health and fitness, so I have a lot of students that are in our theater program, and we have the high school that I teach at. I'm lucky, but we have one of the best theater programs in the state of Washington for a high school, and so I go to a lot of the productions because I know most of the kids that are in them and whatnot. And so I'm just picturing so many of my students in that same scenario when you were just laid out. And I'm like, how would they react to that? Probably not that good.
You want another one? Again, it's all my best theater stuff was in high school, which is wild. Because in college, I did a lot of this kind of unique artsy plays. They were very simple, like nothing fancy happened. They were great, but nothing wild. But in high school, I ain't outing anybody, but like they worked with what they had. My senior year, the musical that year, which I at the time, I didn't think I was any good at music. We saw what happened with that later, but I tried out anyway, and I got a role that didn't sing, but it was like an acting role. It was kind of like a key supporting character. We did the musical Flower Drum Song. Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
It's not Rodgers and Hammerstein, but it's like a well-known musical if you were like grew up in like the 50s, 60s kind of thing.
Okay.
It's about a Asian family who moves to San Francisco. They're trying to like kind of marry their daughter off to this one guy. She doesn't really love him, and she ends up with the guy she's really in love with, right? Like it's love over family kind of thing. But it's an entire Asian cast. Well, I grew up in the west suburbs of Chicago. And just by the way it is, our school is about 70% white. And the theater program was about 90% white. So we had looking back at it now, I'm like, probably wouldn't make this choice in 2025.
Yeah, probably not now.
All these white kids in like these like bowl cut wigs and like, let's just say problematic makeup for some of them.
Yep.
And like there was one, and he was fantastic. His name was Mike. He was of Asian descent, and like he wasn't even the lead. The one Asian kid in the theater program, he was like the third lead. He played like the father of the girl or something like that, but he wasn't even the romantic lead. Yeah. So looking back at the time, it was just like, silly little music. But I look back on it through a lens of now, and I'm like, oh, like my character was an Asian guy from China.
Gosh.
Me. Look at me. I'm a potato farmer and nothing else when it comes to stage acting. But yeah, so like that
didn't
was
age
like,
well, is what you're saying.
it did not. And luckily it was just, it's school kids and everything like that. So whatever, no harm, no foul. But still, yeah. It was one of those things looking back now. I'm like, oh man, what was I a part of?
Well, thank you for that. That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
I got just a couple more. So, I know you're also a gamer, right? And with it, there's some two bigger project movie-wise coming out in this next year that are Mortal Kombat 2 and Street Fighter, the newer live-action Street Fighter that'll be coming out. Were you a fan of either of them? And if you were, which one were you on? Because, those are two brands that kind of were I don't know, WWE,
WCW,
right?
100%, yeah. They were the competing fighting games.
Mortal
100%.
Kombat or Street Fighter.
So for me, I think my memories for Mortal Kombat go back to, and if you guys remember when that game came out, that was the mature game. That was the game mom and dad didn't want you playing.
Absolutely.
The finishers, ripping heads off, right? All that stuff.
Spines out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
The gore.
my parent, it's they didn't specifically say that, but I knew they wouldn't. So I have memories of that going to my neighbor's house and they had it. So playing it there. But for me, because it was less violent, at least the initial entries, we had Street Fighter. I think the Super Nintendo one was at Street Fighter 2, probably.
Okay.
So I played a lot of that. And so I have a lot of fun as a player. I have a lot of fond memories of Street Fighter 2, but I have that kind of taboo memory of going to my neighbor's house and playing Scorpion and ripping spines out.
Yeah. Follow-up question to that real quick, because the live action movies are both coming out in 2026. They've both dropped trailers recently. Do you have one? I know obviously you said the Street Fighter is the one that you more lean toward just because of the upbringing with it, right? But have you seen either of those first off? And if you have, which one are you leaning more towards of wanting to go see when they come out?
So it's tough. A couple of things. One, so the Mortal Kombat, that initial movie that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those ones. I thought it was really cool. Just cool action, everything like that. It wasn't mind blowing as far as a movie goes, but the action was very cool. It played it very cool, very gritty, kind of dark and cool. And so it was fine. I'll give two reasons. Street Fighter coming out. One, it's been a while since they made a Street Fighter movie. I think is Van Damme the last one that they made, right? The last major Hollywood Street Fighter?
Wasn't movie, right? Wasn't it? Didn't they do I thought they did a short-lived TV.
Was there
thing.
something else? Yeah.
There was one more movie. It was Chun-Li something. It had
the Chun-Li movie.
Chun-Li
That's right.
spin-off.
Legend of Chun-Li or something like that. Yeah, kind of. It came and went pretty quick. But yes, you're right. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that one. But
full Street Fighter, yes, you are correct. That it was that 97.
Yeah, something like that.
There, the Van Damme one.
Yep. And so this new one, obviously, Cody, Roman are in it. People I used to work with and stuff like that. People I like and have a lot of respect for, as wild as it is. And so the new Mortal Kombat movie seems like it's following suit with the first one. It looks very cool, dark. It'll probably be great action. So kind of more of the same. I think I'm more just curious about the Street Fighter one. Again, Cody and Roman, but it looks like it's embracing the camp of it all. Very colorful, cartoony, over the top, right?
The posters they put out for them all
almost embracing the silliness of the character. This is insane. We're not going to try to make this gritty and cool. We're going to make which is a smart move because Mortal Kombat's going to be that more just dark, ominous story. Yeah. We're going to go full comic book, cartoon. So I think I'm a little more interested and excited for Street Fighter.
They gave Cody the Guile haircut. I'm fucking in.
Not just again. Modern movies normally let's take the comic or the video game and tone it down.
Absolutely.
No, that flat top is 1.5 feet tall.
Yes,
good for him. And
awesome.
You gotta love is a lot of people that I spoke with that I'm not a Street Fighter devotee in gaming. I'm not a big fighting game guy, but my friends that are, they're wait, they cast Roman Reigns as Akuma? Akuma's like 5'2" or something like in the game universe. He's like Blanca. He's like this short, big guy. And they make 6'4" Roman Reigns Akuma.
Yeah.
I'll be very curious to see how exactly he's portrayed. So
To
for
be
all that
fair,
alone.
they did cast Jason Momoa as Blanca.
Oh, yes, exactly. On the flip side,
at least
exactly.
they're-
Another
at least they're
tall ass
staying,
dude
you know.
as tiny, like 3-foot Blanca. So
At least
yeah,
they're consistent. You can give them that.
exactly.
Well, I told Ryan this, but I think the car scene, like they didn't go into great detail, but there was a quick blurb of the like how you destroy the car in the
Beating down
video
the fucking
games,
car. Yeah.
and they paid homage
Don't
to
you
that.
dare think for 1 second that Bronson Reed splashing people on a car now is not setting up for something for cross promotion and stuff.
Yeah.
In 3-4 months from now, as this ramps up,
You're gonna get Kofi and Xavier Woods coming out in some Street Fighter gear.
no doubt
yeah.
about it. You're gonna see a commercial where they're splashing the guy in the car, the numbers come up or something. 100%.
I love it.
All right. That leading straight perfectly into this because you kind of alluded to it already, but you said you're not a big like fighter gamer. So this brings me to my next question, which is if you could pick one game that you love that could be turned into a live action movie or TV show franchise, what would it be?
It's tough because I am very much kind of an opponent of live action adaptations.
Okay.
I think it can be done. Like me and my wife, we're big Disney files. We love, I don't like nearly any of the live action. Like I'm all for it if like you're a kid who's never seen them before. So if it's a new introduction, great. But there's so much charm that gets lost between an animated medium, whether it's animation or video games, into live action. You lose a little bit of charm and soul. So like I'm a huge Final Fantasy guy. I think I would cringe if they made a Final Fantasy VII movie with some dude with a spiky wig on to play Cloud Strife. Like, they can make it as cool looking and edited as possible, but like it would lose a little something. So like, I think the movies, something that would make the best probably movie I've always thought of, and it's because he literally is a fan of American movies, is Metal Gear Solid. Hideo Kojima is he wanted to be a movie director. He wanted to make Hollywood action films. He found himself in games. And so like, even the way the game is made, it has like an opening credit scene that's like credits rolling for a movie and all this stuff. So like the espionage action with some wild over the top boss characters, I think could be just enough to make a really cool movie without it feeling like, dude, this is weird seeing like we want to avoid what they did with the Super Mario Brothers movie in the 90s with Dennis Hopper as Koopa, who was just a dude in a trench coat. We don't want that. So like, that's why I'm like, if you're going to make a video game movie, make it an animated movie, which I think like the Mario Brothers movie was pretty damn good actually and stuff like that. Sure. So yeah, but if you're going to make it a live action, something like a Metal Gear Solid, maybe a Call of Duty movie, but that's just an army movie. So, I mean, at that point, it's just any other military movie. But yeah, something like that.
All right. Last two things in this segment, and then just our wrap up for you,
Sure.
if you're good with that. And these are super quick. Gotta ask it. It's the Blockbuster segment. We ask this to everybody. What's your favorite movie? I know. I know. That's the kind of question that just slaps you in the face because you're like, how do I pick?
What's your favorite bottle, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. On Wednesday, it's different than it will be on Saturday.
Yep. So right now in this moment, what would you go with?
No, my go-to answer for that is because it was just a very formative movie for me and led me on my kind of cinema journey is Goodfellas. I know it's kind of a boilerplate answer, but like that introduced me to Scorsese, and like then I went back and watched his whole catalog, and he's like my favorite director of all time.
Understandably.
But then led me into like just watching other movies and stuff and everything too. So like that's one of those ones I could watch anytime.
Perfect.
Love it.
And then to follow that up, right in the same vein here, what's your favorite show? And it could be, it could be all the way back to, like, I Love Lucy back in the fucking 50s, up to current streaming times. Do you have one? What would it be?
There's part of me that wants to be like something like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I love those two series, but my first, again, another one where it was my first intro, and you can see a theme here, to like premium television in the modern era was Sopranos. Again, another mob story, which again, as a young man, I got super into gangster tales and everything like that. The world just fascinated me in many ways. So I read books, I watched movies, I watched shows, documentaries, stuff like that. So when that came out, I was like, oh wow, an entire show, and like, oh, it's done really well. And you go back and watch that, it continues to hold up, number one, and the performances are so good. And my favorite thing about that show is my first watch through, it was just like the drama of Sopranos and people getting killed and like the web closing in on Tony and like what's going to happen next, right? Just the crazy drama of it all.
Yeah.
You go back and watch it again, and especially maybe as more of an adult, that show is hilarious. That, like, I wasn't even thinking about the humor of it all when I first watched it because I was just enthralled with like the plot of like what's going to happen next. But I'm like, oh my God, like Paulie and Silvio are some of the greatest comic foils in modern television history. Like it's ridiculous. Some of the bits in that show are so funny. So, that's one I rewatch regularly. So, that's for drama. If I have to throw out like a comedy, Arrested Development.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
So again, a smart list, Bateman and Arnett.
Bateman and Arnett,
That, oh my God, it's so good. I've been rewatching it for the first time in a couple of years recently. And it's still so good.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it in years, so I need to rewatch that one again.
The timing of the show.
It's so good.
The dialogue,
the speed
it's
at
so
which
good.
they hit some of those jokes and bits, it's unreal.
It's you just like
ones too. Oh
yeah, but it just makes sense too because you just like Jason Bateman is the same fucking dude in almost everything he plays in. Like it's just him. It's who he is.
He's the straight guy. He's a great straight guy.
Yes,
that kind of
it's him. Like it's kind of similar to Vince Vaughn, right? Where it's a very similar character in most of the things that he does, but that's almost what makes it so fucking
it works
good.
Very well in that case. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, just to kind of wrap it up here, last two full things we got are what is your famous, I don't know why I said famous, what is your favorite Christmas tradition, just in general?
For me, it's just we go over to my parents' house every year. They go to church. We obviously as a kid I went with them, but now like they take the grandkids and stuff, me and my wife and my brothers and everything, we meet them after at their house, and like we just always spend it together. And like what's fun was when I was a kid, Christmas Eve was again, we'd go to church, we'd come home, aunts and uncles, a couple of aunts and uncles would come over, and then like we would each get to open like one present, right, on Christmas Eve. We did that whole gimmick.
Yep, we did the same thing, yeah.
So now because only my second oldest brother and my sister have kids. Me and my oldest brother, we don't. So like now though, as adults, it's fun because again, we'll come over after church. We all have like a nice dinner that my mom cooks. But then, so my nieces and nephews, we'll get presents for them, and that's when they open their presents from us and everything. So we get to watch that and see them. So that has become like my favorite tradition.
Yeah, that's awesome. But both my older brother has two sons that are almost fucking teenagers now, which is crazy to me. But so we would always kind of do a similar thing there. And now I have a 2-year-old daughter, so now it's kind of like the tables have turned where like we still get stuff from my nephews, but it's more like them getting stuff for my daughter, so we get to see it from that perspective now, which is pretty cool. So, and also real quick, because we do a gift exchange on the podcast every year on this episode, I gotta show this, Tim. I don't feel like I have a choice, primarily because who Matt is married to, but Tim got me this today.
Wow. Hell yeah.
I had to show it. Had to. Didn't feel like
Fantastic.
I had a choice there. That's awesome. So, and then our final question here for you, and this is a tried and true classic question of the holiday season that is always a debate starter. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
Yes, yes, it is. 1,000 times yes.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We just talked about that on my wrestling podcast. It was like, look, it starts with a Christmas song, it ends with a Christmas song. The entire reason the building is empty is because it's the holiday. The movie would not exist. The plot would not happen as it did if it was not Christmas.
Exactly.
So yes, while it is an action movie and all this other, but it is ostensibly, wow, a Christmas movie through and through. For sure.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah,
Just because it's not It's a Wonderful Life, you know, and then people are like, oh, we're hugging each other around a tree. No, it's a Christmas movie. Deal with
Damn right it is. I love that.
I agree.
Awesome.
100%.
Matt, thank you so much for your time and just coming on to two just random dudes podcasts from middle of nowhere in Washington State. Like, we appreciate you so much for giving us your time, man. This has been a blast. And we just want to ask the final thing. Is there anything that you want to kind of plug, as we'll obviously post this and whatnot? Is there anything you want to throw out at all?
No, I mean, the big thing is, for me, just personally, Drama King Matt on virtually any platform that's out there, social wise, you can follow that. But my big things are, so Wrestling with Whiskey, still a thing. It's on Instagram, but I do a lot both on Drama King Matt and Wrestling with Whiskey. But then my wrestling podcast, the Rebooked Wrestling Podcast. We talk about wrestling each week from a storytelling character perspective. We're not talking dirt sheet mumbo jumbo. We're just focusing on the characters and character development and all that kind of stuff with my friends Golden Boy and Jake Bennett. So rebookedpod.com or follow Rebooked Pod. Again, X, Blue Sky, Instagram, all that stuff. And please join us. We'd love to have people's inputs. Watch the show.
Awesome, man. Well, again, from both of us, thank you. It's been amazing to have you on the show, and
Absolutely.
Thank you for the time.
No, thank you guys again. Here, cheers to the wrestling and whiskey connection.
Absolutely.
Here, boys.
Cheers.
Let's fucking go.
Thank you.